YouTube mandem, YouTube galdem, it is Multiplier here. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you something fun, how to make waveform art. Things like this, or like that, and so on. And now, yes, this won't actually be very useful in the grand context of making good tracks and stuff. But what it will do is teach you various music production techniques, as well as, of course, being rather fun indeed, and a different sort of thing to try if maybe you want to do something a little bit different to the norm. So waveform art, how to create it, looking at DC offset and using Ableton and Serum. So as I say, even if you don't necessarily want to make waveform art yourself, what you can do is watch this video and pick up a few tips and tricks that you might not otherwise know about. Also, for those keen-eyed amongst you, you may have spotted something new in the background, or maybe if you've been following me on the Facebook or Instagram. So glance your eyes around the room, see if you can spot anything new. It's exciting. Much more about that to come forthcoming. I'm excited, but let's get into the content of this video, which is waveform art, making pretty waveforms just because fun and YOLO. First thing we need to do is create some DC offset to play around with, and then we'll sort of make it more and more pretty with more processing. So to do the interesting DC offset, I'm going to use Serum. Serum, I love you, Serum. Still working on Steve Duda Appreciation Day. And cool, yeah, let's configure Serum. So what I'm going to do is, it's already on the initial preset, so I'm going to create a new wavetable, first of all, and then create a single cycle, first of all. So I want a width of 1, and then 8 should do the job, 8 vertical resolution. And then if I do a bit of click, creating a cycle, and click to create another cycle, oink, up. That's as high as it goes. What I've done here is create a sine wave with a small amplitude, but importantly, a sine wave with DC offset. Now, what DC offset is, technical term, what DC offset is when the waveform is offset relative to 0, or the middle of the waveform, minus infinity, if you like. So you can see here, for example, this one is a sine wave of small amplitude, but it's DC offset all the way down. That would be no DC offset. That would be a little bit of DC offset. That would be a little bit more. What's that dubstep song? A little bit more. Dodger and Fusky? I can't remember. Anyway, so yeah, that would be even more DC offset, and then this would be even more DC offset still. So, and then, so that's cycle 1. That's cycle 2, and then what I'm going to do is turn these 2 cycles into a full wavetable. At the moment, the wavetable is simply 2 cycles, but I want to make a full wavetable, so I'm going to use morph. Keep your eyes on the numbers down here. Morph, crossfade, boink, and there you go, 1 to 2, 5, 6, and now got a full wavetable. And I can use wavetable position. Check this out. Look at that, everybody. I can use wavetable position effectively to adjust the DC offset, because I had 2 cycles there, and then did a crossfade morph to create all the middly ones. So I can precisely control DC offset for a simple sine wave, small amplitude, and as you can see, lots of fun coolies. Then assign a macro to wavetable position, call this DC offset, and therefore this macro control adjusts the DC offset. Although, strangely, quirk of Serum, you can't actually see the effect of the macro until you play the note. So that's why right now I'm adjusting this and nothing's happening. But that's okay, because we're going to be playing a note. So this DC offset, the macro, if you haven't seen these before, this macro is controlling wavetable position, which is effectively DC offset. Step 1 complete. Step 2 is, we'll see why in a sec. Duplicate Serum, so I don't have to create it twice. Delete. Ooh, click. And I'm going to move these serums above that channel there, just otherwise, and also give it a fun color like green. Otherwise my brain will probably explode. So what I'm going to do is play a note and then modulate using automation this DC offset and then record the result. Now I'm going to do this with 2 channels of Serum, but first of all, let me just show you with 1 and then I'll show you it with 2 and why I'm using 2 and why I'm doing it with 2 channels. So let's just turn that guy off and I will draw in, yes, that should be fine. How long is that? What, 12? Maths. 12 bars, yes, that should be sufficient. So I'll go to down here and I've got to choose a note. Now I've no idea what note to choose. We're going to start off with C4. And if I need to, you'll see why. If I need to, I'll adjust this up or down a bit. But I reckon C4 might do the job. Effectively, if you imagine what's going on with those wavetable cycles, if you imagine what's going on, the higher octave I choose for this note, the closer together those sine waves will be, if you imagine how they're then drawn out. So if I want to make the sine waves closer together, I would choose a higher octave, further apart, a lower octave. But right now, I've no idea. So I'll choose C4. Boink! Then I need to automate this macro. So, little button. Configure, and then click. Mouse, what are you doing? Example of referencing previous videos. USB hub's not working. That's what mouses do when you run them through USB hubs. But I won't get into that now. So do a click and hit configure, turn that configure off. And now I can automate this DC offset to effectively change the DC offset over time. So I've wiggled it about, therefore it's now in the automation lane, and I can then draw some automation. Maybe a bit of this, bit of that, bit of that, bit of that. Now, I'll keep it simple, first of all, to show you what's going on, and then actually do the art, if you like. What do I need to do now? Oh yes, I want to use this channel, the green channel, for recording what's being played out of Serum. So input output, resampling mode, change it to in, so it's listening, and then turn on the little arm button. And now, hopefully, it will do what I think it will do. It's doing it, it's doing it, it's doing it. Fantastic. And then change it to no input. And then I can normalize this so you can see it in all its glory. Command J to consolidate and change the level to 0. Look at that. Normalized. Now you can see what this has done. Oh, mouse. Can you see how this DC offset automation has precisely corresponded to the shape of the thing we're drawing? Cool! So, choosing C4 has resulted in a rather thick line. You can see these little sine wave guys. They're all sort of bunched up. Now, I suspect, based on my previous experiments, that they're a bit too bunched up for a few of the later processing stages. So what I'm going to do is delete that, and pull this down. I don't know, C1, and then give it another go. Boink, and now we can see. That needs to normalize, so Command J, consolidate, set clip gain to 0. And it's still a thick line, which is good. I think that's mostly a function of the amplitude. But now as I zoom in, you can see these sine wave things a bit sooner relative to zoom. So the sine waves have gotten less bunched up because I went down 3 octaves, I think it was, which is cool. Although it's definitely not as sharp as of a line, but that's okay. Should be fine. We can always change it later if we like. Step 3 or 4, some step, the next step. Notice how the waveforms here in Ableton, the left channel is on just take my word for it, you'll see. The left channel is the top waveform and the right channel is the bottom At the moment, it's a mono sound, so the same in the left as the right channel. Therefore, the top line is the same as the bottom. But we could be more interesting by having a different waveform vibe on the bottom to the top. Therefore, we want a different waveform on the right channel to the left. And that is why we have two channels of Serum. So I can pan that one to the left, that one to the right, and set up the automation on this channel of Serum. So configure, click, and then turn off configure. Copy that down, and then where's the automation gone? Where's the automation gone? Oh, it didn't copy the automation. That's okay. So then I can draw in some different automation on this channel. And you will see a little bit up like this, like that. Do a little bit like this. There you go. Bit of that. Notice they're different. And now as I record, click, resampling. You can even see before I've normalized that they are different. And then we'll normalize again. Birds going nuts outside the window, flying around. Distracting me, birds. No input. Consolidated and then normalized. And look at that. See how we can draw? How cool is that? Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Look at those curves. It sort of goes. Oh. Importantly, though, back to knowledge. The top row is the left channel. You can see the automation panned to the left, and the bottom one, automation panned to the right. And so now we can draw in some fun curves. So what I'll do is draw in some fun curves that we can then process and turn into something even cooler. So let's draw in now. I like the curve vibe. The curve vibe is good. A few lines are okay, but curves are even cooler. So cooler. Crooker's song. Really good song, that. One of my faves. So I'll just draw in some nodes. Just drawing in nodes, willy-nilly. No real intention, rhyme, or reason, logic. Let's do that. Up to there. Bit of this, bit of that. Bit of what's going on there. What are you doing? Maniac. Whoa, that is mad. That is bananas. That is absolutely bananas. Okay, that's okay. And then that could be cool. So we'll see what this looks like. Remember, it's all playing like if you're an artiste. If you're an artiste with some paints, sometimes you know what you're doing. Other times you're just going onto the canvas, or you're just letting your mind just do whatever. It's just like this with waveform art. So now what I can do is record this in resample mode. Remember, it's got to be resampling in and armed. Didn't mention precisely what this does if you're new to resampling mode. What resampling mode does is listen to everything coming out of Ableton and record it. So because I have both these channels playing, that means it's going to be recording in both those channels. Imagine a man holding a recorder, a handheld recording device, just going, I'm listening. That's what resample mode is doing. So record, big button at the top, or a little button actually, tiny button. And then just let it record. You can see it's doing its thing. We will need to, of course, again, normalize. Then we can take it to the next level with some processing. It's cool, right? Oh, and then, oh, what's going on there? And then, right, no input. And then normalize, Command J, set clip gain to 0, and look at that. That'll do the job. So, confidence multiplier, delete the serums. There you go. Commit, always commit. Usually commit. Oh, look at that. Wowzers trousers. Oh, that pleases the eyes. start to zoom in, you can see this sort of sine waves. Can you see what's going on here? The sine waves. That's cool, right? Ah, that is just those curves. It's like that man, but with the calligraphy. Words to confirm or disconfirm. Is it calligraphy? I think it's calligraphy. We'll run with calligraphy. It's like we're artistes. We're artistes. We're artistes with our calligraphy, but with waveforms and Serum. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is beautiful for the eyes. Anyway, how could we maybe take this to the next level? Processing. And in particular, I'm just going to back that up effectively by duplicating it. We're going to use Sigmund, which is my favorite plugin for delay from the guys at D16, because what Sigmund does is delay, but it does lots of different delays. In fact, let me double click. What Sigmund does is lots of different delays. You can see there are 4 channels of delay here, but importantly, it does lots of additional bits of processing. It's not just ping pong delay or simple delay or filter delay. What it's doing is modulation, saturation, all sorts of filtering, all sorts of bits and bobs. It's the bits and the bobs that make it complex and interesting, effectively. Now, the difficulty is working out which of these presets makes a good bit of waveform art and which does almost nothing at all. Because remember, we can't use our ears for this. It's all in the eyes. And to be honest, if I loaded up a preset, I could eventually work out how that would manipulate the waveform we've created, but it could take 5 minutes or even an hour if it's a really complicated preset, or maybe not an hour, 20 minutes we'll say, to work out from the preset, looking at it visually, to then think about what that will do to the waveform and go, oh, is that good or not? I don't know. So we're just going to try a few and hope for the best, which is what we have to do lots of times in production. So, Captain Crunch, let's try that one. Captain Crunch, freeze. And flatten, writing it out to audio. Does that look good? No, it doesn't. So we'll try something else. Should have written it down. We'll try this one. Computer spinning real fast. Computer. Right, flatten. Oh, that's starting to do something cool. It's making it all jaggedy. So maybe we're onto the right track with this. Maybe this synth riffs and the drum loops have more time-based modulation programmed in, which probably makes sense thinking about it. So we'll try some of these. Horse. And flatten. Nope. Not vibing that. Not vibing that. Machine filter gating. Ooh, filter. Is that good? We'll find out now. Ah! Look at that! Oh! Wowzers trap! Wow! 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 How cool is that? It looks like I can't even put it into words. A picture tells 1,000 words. This one tells 10,000. Oh, that is brilliant. Look at that. Do we... No, let's not zoom in. It's nicer from a distance. Oh, that is magnificent. That is magnificent. The levels of magnificence boggle the mind. In hindsight, maybe a higher octave would have given me slightly more sharpness. So lesson learned there. You can see as I start to zoom in, we lose some of the sharpness. I should have chosen a higher octave. So there you go, knowledge. We're learning together. We're learning together. We're learning together. From a distance, this looks fantastic. It looks great from a distance. And then as you zoom in, you lose some of the sharpness. You can see the sine waves. Oh. So yes, for this particular Sigmund preset, a higher octave would have been better. We're learning together. But I found one yesterday that just does something different. I want to see if I can find That's just bad. That's not very good at all. Whose idea was that? Maniac. Come on. Come on. Come on. Have we tried Doctors? That one looks wacky. That's more like it. Look at that. It's starting to do cool. It's again, I should have chosen a higher octave. Get that sharpness up, but that's okay. We've all learned from that. I'm going to try 3 more, and no more than 3 more is going to be the. Otherwise, I'll just go with that one. That's pretty cool too. That's pretty cool too, and it's But there is one I had in mind that I did yesterday. That was really cool and it was different. Synth loops. Must be one of these. Maybe it's one with the dry wet that I need to. No, it wasn't. I didn't have to do that yesterday. Bottle echoes. Right. This one and then 2 more. And if it's none of those, I'll show you a picture. It's not that one. Although that one is cool too. Disco. Oh, come on. Synth riffs. I think it was one of these. Heart Attack. There you go. That's Heart Attack. One more after this, and if it's not that one, it's not that one. That's what's. Ooh. It's not that one, but I like that. That wasn't the one I had in mind, but kind of weird, isn't it? We'll keep that one too. Try one more, just because I said I would try one more. So we'll try one more. If not, we would simply take that Heart Attack one, which was pretty wacky, pretty weird. Weird for the beard. Ooh, brush your teeth. Always brush your teeth. That's wet to 100%. And freeze. It's the final audition. Oh, that's even different. That's pretty wild. Wild. Look at that. Whoa. Ooh, that is just, I mean, look at all these, everybody. Look at all of this. Maybe I can just, there you go. I'm going to run with this. This is we'll have sparked your imagination, nonetheless. Let's change the skin as well. Make it look, hopefully this won't break my screen recording. I've never tried changing the skin with the screen recording running. It should work. Skin. Disco. That is pretty razzmatazz. Razzmatazz. Let's do clouds. It's pleasant on the eyes. It's pleasant on the eyes. Frost. Also pleasant on the eyes. Also very pleasant on the eyes. For a short period of time, anyway. That is good. Me likey. Let's try a few more colours. This is like we've done the drawing, but we're painting a picture. Now we're colouring it in with our colouring pencils. Clay. No. Frost. Tried that one. Light grey. Useless. Wonder Lake. Useless. Nautic. What, are we in the ocean? No, we're on land. I liked disco and not clouds. Calcium. Oh, was it clouds? Disco good. Clouds good. Clouds and disco. You know what? That's pretty rad. I'm going to go for calcium. Nope, it was clouds. Come on. Do your button clicks. I could disco. We'll get disco. Disco, 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 disco. Disco, 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 disco. Boink. There you go. Look at that. No, I prefer clouds. There you go. Oh, bright. I like bright things. So. That is fun. Has it sparked your imagination? Are you excited to give it a go yourself? I mean, as you can see, it's a world of possibility. Look at that! It's art. We're drawing art with waveforms. I like it. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Many funs, many funs, and as you can see, artistic, visually good, visually appealing. It's very aesthetic. It's nice on the eyes. And interesting. So, waveforms, art, DC offset, Serum, Ableton, multiplier. My name has been Multiplier, and I will catch you guys on the computer about to explode. Diddy flippity flip. Running out of space, working it hard. Also, a new toy at the back. Look forward to that.